All right, this is Maria Imp calling the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order at 6 o'clock on Monday, August 26, 2024. Excuse this evening are Judy Williams-Kalaki, Michelle Eichman, and Annalie Bennon. So the rest of the roll call: Anne Maria Pubgia,
Present.
Mike Karlevitz,
Here.
Terry Barris,
Here.
Ellen Alexandrovich,
Here.
Doris Weber.
Here.
And also in attendance is Jennifer Luffel. Alrighty, no visitors, no public comments, so we'll move on to the minutes. Anybody notice anything? Okay, do I have a motion to
There was a little typo.
You know what? I just
On
thought
one
that same thing, Mike, and I'm like looking and I can't
Where is that guy?
see it. You and I, let's read it through it really carefully again.
Oh, I found it. Flooring bid.
Bid. Yeah.
Aha!
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer.
Oh, for Pete's
So,
sake.
is that under old business? Yep. Big red circle around that one. Oh, Michelle is here, see?
I was at a meeting at City Hall just Sunday.
Excellent. It was a question mark. All right. Well, good thing you were excused anyways.
Oh, yes.
But okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the July 22nd meeting?
I'll make the motion.
1 second.
Doris and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries. All right. Take it away, Alan.
Okay, approval of the vouchers for Fund 15. We have a total of $26,970.05.
$79.
That's what I said. I don't know what you heard. Sorry. I did not see anything unusual in this listing, so I'm looking for a
I
motion.
make
to
a
approve.
motion, we approve.
I'll second it.
Annie and Doris. Any other questions about the Fund 15 vouchers and invoices? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries.
Fund 16, total $2,937.04, and there's nothing unusual here, so I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Annie and Mike. Any other questions regarding that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Continue.
Okay, going through the financials, July is 58.2% of the year. Our revenue is, I have on my report 102.04, but if you look at the numbers, it's a little higher than that because at the time I did the report, we did not have the investment earnings on it. So it's a little different. Landfill operations, the $97,875
Unfortunately.
is not staying. It's the posting error. I told Jennifer not to point it out to him, just send him a thank you note. No, it's not gonna work. Total expenditures are 55.4% of the budget. Standard transactions that were not reported, the electricity showed up after the report last month, and so I booked it in June, they booked it in July, and we have the whole with nothing there in June. So be it.
Year to date, it's still okay, right?
Yeah, it's okay, but we're missing a month's worth, which is about $7,000.
Right.
And at our budget, that's not gonna make or break us. Account 5557, building maintenance systems, this is running 197.3% of the budget because we have our air conditioning working. Other than that, expenditures are as anticipated. Fund 16, the total revenue is 59.19% of the budget. Interest was $559, and again, that didn't show up on the report that I did, so my percentage is going to be off a little bit. Library fines, the quarterly amount that we get from Nicholas showed up, so fines were $3,149. Total expenditures were 61.46% of budget. Library materials are still running high at 77.52% of budget. Other than that, expenditures are as anticipated, and the cash register report is perfect.
Wonderful.
Now, as far as the building maintenance systems cost being so much over budget, do we think that we're gonna need to pull money out from the fund?
Fund balance. Yeah.
We'll see at the end of the year. I mean, there's some lines that we might do pretty well in, like natural gas, we're running under. Some things might make up for it. So,
You don't have an extra packet, do you, by chance?
okay, yeah.
Oh, perfect. I didn't see
A
you back
packet.
there. Packet.
A packet.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I asked
I-
for.
That's okay. I have it. I can't pull up City on here, but I can do it on my phone.
Were there any other questions about financial statements? Then the only other thing was the credit card report, and there's nothing on that that looked unusual. The total is $2,233. That's actually the lowest amount this year so far, so.
Didn't we approve additional credit cards for staff in one of the
Keep
previous
limits.
meetings?
Yes.
Is that working out okay?
Oh, additional money? Yes, that's made Carrie's financial stuff with the credit card much easier. Because they were using mine sometimes.
Because of the dollar amount? Okay.
So, yeah. So it's been working out very
Good.
well.
Alrighty.
Kate,
Thank you, Alan.
you're welcome. And Jennifer, were you gonna take the budget?
So that concludes.
That's concludes.
That part of the treasurer's report. So we are gonna move on to discussing, to new business, 6A,
Okay,
the mayor's budget, if you're done. Which it
Done.
sounds like you were, yeah. Okay, so on pages 18 to 20 is not exact, what, is it the recommended budget or not quite yet the recommended budget?
Yeah, it's not quite
Right.
yet.
So even though it's, I'm sorry, I'm gonna back up.
okay.
So I got all flustered looking at all these financial sheets because the monthly financials and the monthly financials have the same title on them.
Ah,
You know what I mean? The one where you go 12 months versus this year. The reports are called the same thing.
So you just suggest having
Maybe
something
have
better
it
that says like, okay, this is
something-
a 12-month rolling as opposed to a
Yes.
year-to-date one?
Could you create a new title for one of them for me?
for you?
For me?
Of course.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll look at
Me
the.
too.
Okay, we might too. All right.
If
so
Mike
now-
had asked,
Now we will go on to the kind of, sort of, not quite mayor's
Well, anything
recommended
new?
budget.
Anything new
Yes.
from a budget standpoint, Jennifer?
Well, the new part is that they will only have estimated numbers for the recommended budget because of the delay in getting assessments, which I'm sure Michelle will probably talk about during the report. So it's gonna be a little bit of a fun budget. So.
Nothing else that this board needs to do, though.
Are we still getting the landfill money?
Well, I put it in there.
Okay.
well, not the 97,000, but the 20,000, I'm sure. But that, we don't get till, what, November?
Well, he just said, talked about taking it out last year, so.
Oh, that's true.
But there was no timeline that I remember.
No, it's just don't.
It was just like someday at night.
Right, that's, yeah, that's why I'm
But-
asking.
Yeah,
So the new thing is the city did put the personnel numbers in, and when I calculated, it looks like they were getting a 2%
Hmm.
raise.
Okay.
So those numbers are new. Equipment-
Different from this, or is this the,
No, those are,
These are-
that's what
okay.
They were probably like, they keep consistently giving bigger raises, we better put in
yeah, maybe.
money this time.
Yeah, the numbers I had calculated were larger than these.
Gotcha.
Yes. Because I think yours was 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the other change is equipment maintenance is gonna be way down because
Mhm.
we'll get a new RFID system that will have maintenance for the free for the first year. E-books, that's a solid number, because that's the number Nicholas gave me, so I'm
Gotcha.
calling that a solid number. I've made my little changes. Computer
It's super
equipment.
helpful, yeah.
Computer equipment, I put in 40,000, but I'm probably gonna be able to get it down a little bit. The question is, how much will I be able to get it down?
Right,
I'm getting quotes from 3 different companies.
okay.
Are we differentiating stuff that staff uses versus stuff that patrons use when we talk about computer equipment? Okay, so how do we determine what we should talk to the foundation to fund versus what should be out of the budget? Would be my question.
Oh,
You know, and do we do that for computers or do we do that for other stuff? Because
we haven't done it for computers mainly because they're pretty strict about not giving money for things that they feel the city should be, supporting.
that's fine. Yeah, I was just curious as to, you know, if there's anything.
So they like to do things above and beyond what the city might do. For example, that's the Wonder Books, because those were
Mhm.
Right.
collections so
Right.
expensive.
Okay.
Create space
Furniture.
items,
Mhm.
furniture,
Right.
well, not even furniture really.
Well, didn't they,
Well,
a
yeah,
couple
they did.
years ago, I thought Foundation,
They had done
Get
some of
some
the
furniture.
We've got new
chairs.
tables
and-
too, right?
And then obviously
Oh, yeah,
the
tables
patio
and
For the study
furniture.
rooms, for the
Yeah.
study rooms.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
That's it from my perspective.
Do we happen to know if any of the stuff that Johnson Controls is going to be doing is going to hit next year, where we would start to see some savings as a result of stuff being put in?
I think so, but it's kind of like when and how much is it? I mean, I think.
Probably not early
people-
enough in the year to really make a difference,
They
right?
get it done like like they're planning to get it done in late spring.
Mm,
We're gonna have
mhm.
6 months of
Possible.
good possible savings
Yeah.
on AC.
That'll probably help more for planning for '26 than worrying about next year, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will have savings.
Is there a reason for doing it? We better, right?
Yeah, we better.
But if it doesn't really kick in till late spring, and we're already working on the budget.
Oh, yeah,
It may
no-
be tough to really have a good idea of what those savings might be when we have to put the next budget together. So we may have to wait yet another budget cycle,
Yeah, it's a good point.
Sure.
But, guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, any other specific questions for Jennifer or I guess the finance committee if they know details about this? Alan, Mike, Terry, any other comments about any of this stuff?
Nothing's changed since the last time we
Right.
met.
Right, okay. All right, and there was no action on that, it was just put in front of
An
us, so,
update.
yep. Alrighty, we are gonna take a look at these changes to the MICFLIS member agreement. And it begins with the memo on page 21 of our packet and then goes to the PowerPoint that Steve had. So Jennifer, do you wanna?
Yeah, I did this memo like literally right after the meeting while I still remembered
Right.
everything.
Yep.
So as you see, there's some changes that Steve is proposing for the member agreement from 25 to 29. And he outlined all those changes in the slides, but my memo is kind of like a little
I like the
Summarization.
executive summary, yeah.
Yes, for sure.
As far as I'm concerned, the proposed changes really don't affect us.
From a net, yeah.
You know, you're talking, we get like
Couple grand.
$100,000 if you base it on what our
What our
most
current,
recent stats were. So, I don't have a problem with that. There is two options that they're considering for reciprocal borrowing. Option one would keep the distribution formula unchanged. Option two would have a different formula, which, according to Steve, would help encourage libraries to continue adding to their collections. So it'd be almost like a little incentive,
Mm-hmm.
because libraries would get 25%. 25% of the distribution would be items added during that year to our collection. So it's kind of a different way of looking at it. He called it a,
a grant.
yeah,
He had a
which we
funny
already
name.
told, we already told him is not good verbiage, because we don't wanna call them grants, because they're not grants.
Yeah, you're not, the libraries aren't applying
So
for
he said he would
them.
come up with a different.
There's no selection
word, he would come up with different wording. So the one, like I said, the 100% would be the net positive transactions. And then option two would be 75% of the net transactions and 25% from items added to their collections.
I still don't understand what that means. What would a good example be? Okay, in the 100, let's take an example and say, okay, in the 100% scenario, what would go on? Because you got this headed changes to reciprocal borrowing. Okay.
Yeah, the first one really isn't a change, so that was probably my bad wording.
But if we're talking about reciprocal borrowing, let's have an example of what this option 2 now does. How does that change reciprocal borrowing?
It changes it because instead of us getting credited for 100% of the net positive transactions
Yeah,
that we currently are getting,
right.
it would become 75%.
In dollars.
Of the pool of money.
Right, and the other 25% comes from,
How many items we add to our collection during that same time period. To encourage libraries to keep up their collections and not become dependent, not letting other libraries build up their collections and borrowing from them.
okay.
So my question to Jennifer the other day was, is it dependent on materials being added to the collections that are then circulated, or is it simply just materials added to the collection? Because there's definitely, libraries could just add anything that might never circulate, and they'll
My understanding was it's just pure.
just
items
pure whatever
added.
they add, versus libraries that are working hard to add to their collections things that will circulate. But they haven't, that part isn't a part of this.
Yeah, it's not, but in the spirit of librarianship, we usually
Absolutely.
are adding
Sure.
items that
Sure.
we think will circulate.
Right.
However.
There's got to be a reason for him to come up with option 2.
Yes. And I think I don't know if he's seeing from his position as system director, if he's hearing complaints from people that some libraries aren't keeping up their collections.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw something out there. So how does other libraries not keeping up with their collections affect Franklin Public Library? How do I get impacted?
Because they're,
Reciprocal
There-
borrowing increases, right?
their patrons may have more heavily use our collection,
Right.
thereby prohibiting our own people from being able to use our collection. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I can get. more
Okay, well,
clarity-
that gets me a little bit closer to understanding what,
I can get more clarity from him on what he was
Mhm,
thinking about
mhm.
that.
And then on one hand, we benefit from that scenario though, because we lend more than our community members borrow, maybe. So,
But to Jennifer's point, if,
right,
if we have the stuff here, but we can't get it, so then we have to then,
right.
because a lot of
Lend
people are
from
not going to wait,
someplace
right?
else.
Oh, it's available somewhere within the system. So you just create this churn
Yes, this back and
of
forth.
stuff
yes.
going on.
So
Yeah.
it's more of a way of getting everybody to pull their own weight. basically.
Sounds like
Right,
it, yeah,
right.
yeah.
I have a question. Were we talking about Hoopla is going to be increasing in cost
Yes.
That's on here,
exponentially
too.
every year?
Exponentially, no, it's gotten more popular every year.
So the program, am I jumping ahead?
A little bit.
I had a question about this too, so
Is that going to be a negative net for us?
yeah. What if we didn't offer it? Do we have to offer it?
No.
It is-
And if we didn't offer it, we would save 21,000.
How devastating would that be to our
would be
patrons?
upset.
It's super popular. My daughter uses it constantly.
Tell her to back off and slow down.
Yeah.
What do you
But the
think?
Costing
thing is,
us
there
too
are
much
things,
money.
like there are things she gets on Hoopla that aren't available in the entire library system. That is what Hoopla provides. Which is
Yeah.
very
I know, but a lot of people.
esoteric things. She was looking up the history of some.
But you can get a membership to Hoopla.
Right. But again, you can get a streaming service or check stuff out for free from your library.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So it definitely is very popular.
But when it comes to like things that we may have to cut to save money,
Right.
like that would be an easy one to cut to save money, I would think, especially if it's going to continue to go up, and the more people borrow from us, the more it's going to cost, and it would also be something that'd be easier to cut earlier than when we have more and more patrons using it and costing us more, and then all of a sudden to be like, oh, sorry, now we're no longer offering this, even though we offered it for so many years. And we still have Canopy, or we still have Libby and Canopy, right? Like those are still
Yeah,
two other
Canopy is
ones.
a little different. Canopy's more is movies. Hoopla is more audio. books.
Right. Yeah, I
And
mean,
music.
I use them too. I wouldn't really want to get rid of it for
I mean,
selfish
there's some
reasons,
strategies we
but
can employ. Like right now, we allow 4 checkouts or 4 downloads.
Right.
What do you want to call it? Per month, we could go down to 2.
two, yeah.
So there are
Before we
ways
take
to
it away
control
from-
there's ways to control the cost
Mm-hmm.
without totally getting rid of it. I hesitate because it's so popular and it's
Popular,
kind of
right.
like saying, well, you want this? Well, we're going to pull the plug. People don't realize how expensive it is though.
Right.
Right.
And their tax dollars only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something, I guess, kind of like with our strategic planning that, maybe that's something that we somehow let people know how expensive it is.
Well,
how
you
much it
know that when
costs.
we were talking about strategic planning, there was a lot of people that came for those community conversations that, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know
Right.
that. Really, you can get that? So, I mean,
Yes.
that may beg from a strategic planning standpoint, okay, what other ways can we communicate what's going on to help ourselves and help our customers? Right? So,
You mean
Yeah,
they
that's a
didn't know
good point,
about?
Doris.
You mean they didn't know about Hoopla?
oh,
no,
just
a lot-
everything.
all
stuff.
sorts of different
Yeah.
things.
Yes, you
Because
need
we don't advertise Hoopla a whole lot
Yeah.
because it's
So expensive.
so expensive and it seems to be exploding just by word of mouth and
Yeah.
stuff that we're kind of like, maybe we don't want to talk about it too much.
Maybe that is something to consider of going down to 2 as it's starting to boom. Once
Okay, so we
have
got
to pay
away
for
from
it.
the thing, and now we have a hoopla conversation.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
that's a-
sorry.
No, that's okay. We were going to talk
But
about it
that-
anyway.
We
Right.
were going to later this year, yeah.
Yeah, but that is, if that's
later.
something that we start have to paying for and with this.
And I don't know how Steve then communicates to all of the member libraries. Here are some things that you can do in order to, improve your collections to the point where now you have people borrowing more from your library. And not every library probably is funded the same way. So libraries that do really, really well do really, really well for a reason. right? And it may not be anybody's fault that the community doesn't have the resources to fund the library. We're not all the same size. I mean, we do really well. I mean, looking at where we are in the pecking order compared to the size of the community, we do really well. So,
So, yeah, I think,
so what's the next step on that?
the next step is for us to, I mean, we don't, his presentation said, September, but, early September, but
Yes,
there
that's
were
what I
quite a few-
noticed.
There were quite a few libraries at the meeting who said, hey, we don't even have a board meeting
Oh, okay,
until after that date. Because some libraries don't have board meetings in August.
gotcha. So
then
the
you
September
send it-
12th date was kind of changed to the 30th.
Right,
Okay,
so
that was
that
a
gives us
question.
another, you know, if people want to percolate on it, or,
Would
You know, we
you
wanna bring it
suggest
back.
then we have an agenda item on the next month's meeting specifically to say, okay, an action item is gonna be, we're gonna make a decision, which way does this board recommend option 1 or option 2?
and I can also get clarity from Steve as far as that 25%, you know, see what his rationale is behind.
Yeah, that'd be good for us to know.
Absolutely, we'll put it on the agenda for next month to have an action item. My question was, do you as a board feel like a small group needs to sit down and really hash this through with Jennifer and make a recommendation?
For $1,000 difference,
Yeah.
No.
Okay, that was my thought too,
right?
unless there was some major. I was
I would
thinking
just
about
like to
this
come out of the
before.
conversation, okay, this group is gonna go with option 1 because.
Right,
So that's the type of stuff that should go back to Steve from
right,
from
right, okay,
So as long as we can do that.
Yeah.
I think that we can do that here, right?
Yeah.
okay, good. I just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, that's good.
So I can put it back on the menu under old business next.
Our menu, yes.
Yes.
Yep. Perfect. All right, so that'll be, and you can send that out in the packet again if there's any new information or maybe another, obviously another updated memo. Okay. And certainly between now and next month, any other questions for Jennifer regarding that, please bring to her attention. Okay, our policy of the month, agenda item 6C, is the challenged materials policy and the reconsideration of materials form. And I noticed that there were no changes
I was gonna
made.
say, we just went through this, didn't we?
I know,
Everybody says that, but it's been
but look at how long ago.
It's been over 2
February.
years.
But
22.
Jennifer brought to my attention that, was it Hales Corners?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that protest.
Just recently had
Oh,
3
really?
items that actually went to a board hearing within the last couple months,
Oh.
whatever. So this is definitely something we need to make sure it's well written and looked at, like all of our policies.
Yeah.
So Jennifer didn't see anything.
Carrie looked through it, she's like, Carrie said the same thing, she's like, we just did that one. Like,
It just came up in conversation the other day with me and somebody too, and I'm like, we have a policy on that. I know we just did it not too long ago.
Right, right.
Have we exercised this recently?
Our library, no.
oh, I do
Yeah.
have, well,
So,
knock on wood,
well,
I do
the
have
reason for
that.
asking that is that then we should, it's kind of hard to tell whether or
Right.
not there's anything in here that we,
Right.
because we don't have
Right.
anything, well, we had this situation happen, so now we gotta tweak this wording,
Right,
so.
right.
I can tell you this, after reading the article about Hales Corners, their procedure is very similar to ours.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
oh, yeah, we do that, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then I make a motion to approve or
Reaffirm.
to reaffirm. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Second?
I'll second.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Alan. Alan's seconding it.
easy for you to say.
Yeah, right. All right, any other questions about that policy? Then all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Okay, motion carries. All right, Michelle.
I don't really have anything in regards relating directly to the library. I know Jennifer, you had mentioned the budget, so they are starting to work on the budget. I've served on the finance committee in the past. I'm not on it now. I know they're working on a very tight budget. Our last common council meeting, we've got a special meeting tomorrow night in regards to something else, but at our one this past Tuesday, it was noted, and please don't quote me exact word for word, it's going to be a very challenging budget time this year for them. Employees' health insurance has skyrocketed out of the roof for the city. All the employees that we have on our health insurance, and those costs have to be absorbed somewhere. Just like everything else is going up, things in the city are going up. Ink, services, so unfortunately, taxes won't be going down. That much I know. But they are working on a really tight budget with a lot of different things, because just like all the other costs for us personally, groceries, gas, everything, the city incorporates the same type of increases in costs. But the health insurance is the main escalating factor of that I've been aware of at this point. So,
Pickleball courts.
That we're still not being used.
The what?
this one's not complete yet. The one on 51st
Right.
Street, every time I go there, there's people on it.
I just mean that it's not finished yet.
No, it had to be put on hold for other projects, and the asphalt had to seal. The sinkhole put us quite behind, DPW quite behind in projects that took up a chunk of time, so everything got pushed back.
Any questions for Michelle?
No. Oh, I didn't hear that right. Feel free to please ask me anything that you may have.
Nope,
and I will
not
try my
taking
best
any
to answer
answer.
and find out the answer.
And I don't know if Jennifer was going to mention this, but it's not on any agenda yet, but it's about time for our yearly presentation to the council. So Jennifer will be putting that together.
Great.
We kind of talked about a possible date, so
Yeah.
it's coming up. All right, Annalie couldn't be here. Thank you for your report, Michelle, by the way. So in regards to the schools, Annalie is not here, obviously, and let's see. District updates. We welcome staff back on Tuesday, tomorrow. Their first professional development day is September 29th. So the library is to reach out to either Annalie or Jill Poglaze that if there are any sessions that the library would want to run for the staff, or if there are any sessions that they will be having that the library staff would want to attend, which is nice. So I'm sure you are working with her, or you know what they're offering, and I don't know if you guys have some things in mind that you would want to offer. So that was her report for us this evening. Next on the agenda is a strategic planning committee report. Mike or Doris?
Well, the last thing that came through, and I think you had put something through, Jennifer, that we had made surveys available.
Yep.
People could do
Mm-hmm.
hard copy or go online. I can remember back in 2015 when I did a survey and we had like over 300 respondents. We didn't even have that much this time.
No, we did.
What happened?
I sent out an
E-blast.
e-newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from the.
So I
low-
saw a number of 106.
Mhm.
Yes,
And that was before she sent out her thing.
it's gone up to like mid 500s.
Okay, that's
Nice,
better.
good job.
That's better.
And it might even have gone up higher because that was early in the day yesterday. Because Rachel emailed me and said, I don't know what happened. But you now have like 500, I think she said 543 responses.
Oh, there you go.
And there was still time.
Sure.
Now I told her, don't cut it off at midnight,
Yeah.
let it go through today,
Yeah.
so. But I
Well,
was telling
and even with the
people-
smaller numbers, the thought was, okay, it's summer. People are focused on, getting kids ready for school and people are finishing up vacations and all that different type of stuff. So it's not top of mind. So, and if you let folks know, you have until such and such a time,
Put it on.
they'll go ahead and then do it right away, especially if it's a
Right.
very short survey. Right, really, really short.
Mhm.
We had five
Mhm.
different things to mention there. So that's encouraging because otherwise I was going to say I think we really need to look at getting more responses before we do anything
Done.
with
Done.
the direction.
Yay.
So because we're meeting on Wednesday.
I mean, we might
Okay.
even be up to 600,
Okay.
hoping.
Yeah.
Now you're just bragging.
How do we have quite a few written ones?
We really didn't have anybody ask for written ones. I had people who didn't want to do it on the computer. I just brought up the laptop form
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and
nice.
let them do it on
Yeah.
the
Oh,
laptop.
good. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
things easy. Okay. Or easier.
So nobody asked for a paper copy.
Okay.
Yeah, so what Rachel's gonna do for us then is that pull this stuff together and let's try to find what the key takeaways are from this, and if there's any other things that we should read from here on the community's, suggestions for direction for the library, because there were specific things in the survey. If everybody took the survey, you already know what I'm talking about. What do you think the library ought to be doing? Like, what's important for you?
Mm-hmm.
If I come back in 5 years, what should this library look like? Like, so that there's some things that, and there was always another place, right? So you could answer other,
Mm-hmm.
and then come up with, like, my wife did this. She said, I wasn't really happy with it, so I did like other for a whole bunch of different things, and just added my own thoughts. It's like, well, good, we want that too. Right? We don't feel like you were cubbyholed into just answering those things. So that's kind of where we sit. So we should have more directional things
Right. Right.
for the September meeting. This is going to help us a little bit in just kind of planning, setting objectives for
Right.
starting
The
next
big-
year. How is things going to be different? One of the things I mentioned was communication. What else might it look like? We had things that came up about meeting space.
Mhm.
So that might flush out some potential projects, or at least get them on a timeline. Or this meets right in with what we already were talking about from a facilities plan or other stuff. Or it may just be something totally new out there. Well, we're going to let the results from the survey help drive that,
Right.
because that was the whole purpose of doing that. We went,
Like last time, yeah.
yeah, and then another thing that's going to happen is that, this is what the community told us. So kind of like that, we heard you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what the plan is for this,
Mm-hmm.
and then to provide some response back to the community. So even if you didn't take the survey,
Right.
here's the type of things that are going to be going on, relative to what our plan is going to be.
Good deal. Anything to add?
No,
Okay.
Bring your egg cartons.
Right.
I think I'm good for a while.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you guys for all your work on that committee too.
It's fun.
Thank
Yeah,
It's been fun.
It was fun, yeah, for sure. All right. As far as what I've done this month, why do I have a page number on there? Page
And
40.
you put the master calendar there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, why not? I never had a page before. We updated the master calendar the last time, but look, you didn't update the date at the bottom.
Of course I did.
So just as a point, we had a couple things that shifted, and so we wanted to I requested a new master calendar, and we should do one every year at our annual meeting anyways. We're a month behind for that. That was my fault. But, so that's that.
Before we get off of that,
The master calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't we look at that then? Sure.
just a thought. Since we have quarterly objectives
I was thinking about that too. Yes.
from a planning standpoint, to say, I'm going to have this. This is a quarter one deliverable. Let's look at it after each quarter rather than just twice a year.
Right, and we do that. And I can't remember why we don't put it on the master calendar.
I can add
There
it.
was a reason.
Yeah,
but-
let's do that. So
Yeah.
we make sure, because
Yep.
we look at this and then
Because-
we make sure it gets on the agenda.
Because she always does a quarterly report, so it would be like April is really for the first quarter,
Mhm.
and then let's see, January would be for the last quarter of the previous year. July would be the mid-year, so we probably don't need that one. Actually, January is our retreat and the annual previous year report, yeah. Okay, so then we just need,
In October.
yeah. All right. Okay, I was at the Milkman game, and I don't know, Jennifer, in your report, I can't remember if I saw money reported. Or
Okay.
do we have, but we can wait for your report.
Yeah, I think that's good to talk about. We were gonna talk about it at the foundation.
Oh, that's where, okay. And then I came across, I heard an ad on the radio, and I came across that new, I don't know if it's new, Jennifer can tell me. I think it's called MilwaukeeReading.com. Is that a new thing now, or is
Yes,
are they just promoting it? So
Nick Fliss Literacy.
yes, so McFliss now has a new literacy service. Maybe it's not, the services aren't new, but connecting people. And it's in-person tutoring, online tutoring, news, and it's all, you don't even need a library card to access it, but it is through the library system. And all of everything on the site has the option to read it to you. So obviously, if you're looking for literacy services and you're unable to read, having all this print is not helpful. So it has it all spoken to. So I came across that and thought that was kind of neat. And I don't know if that would be something that would be useful to some of our families that English is not their first language, or if it's more geared towards English speaking with low literacy.
It could be both.
Okay, so that might be something, and Annalie's not here tonight, but that could be accessed by some of those populations in Franklin.
What's it called?
It's Milwaukee.
The
website is like Milwaukee Read.
It's mkereading.com, and then it takes you to McFliss. So I don't know if you go to the McFliss.org website, if you can access it
You
through a
can.
menu too.
You
But
can,
it's-
but they wanted to put that in there.
Yes, so it's a website that links to the McFliss. Yeah, mkereading.com.
I always forget if MK reads, Milwaukee Reads.
Well, no, I typed it in 2 or 3 times before I found it. So yeah. So that's it for me. And then Jennifer, do you need to somebody?
Okay,
Okay. So your Jennifer's report.
it was
It's like a
this month.
busy month.
I had to get some ready. So you see, we've been working on the scheduling process, and then we worked on it, and then found out the city's looking for
Yeah.
scheduling software, so right now everything's on hold, so.
Mm-hmm.
We never, we're always constantly looking for ways to improve,
Yeah.
so that was one way we thought we could improve things.
Mhm.
Maybe you could use a system that lets people know about something that's in process in other areas of city government,
Yeah.
like
would
that.
be nice. Yeah.
So in other words,
Oh.
that you've got a project and then you find out that
Yeah.
somebody else has one. If there's same way to put things into the pigeonholes for all
All
those
to
very
see.
different, yeah,
Yeah.
that would
That
be
would be
Yeah.
nice.
helpful.
Yeah.
So we're kind of waiting on that. And then HVAC, been no problem. Health department put a nice notice out on Facebook today, reminding
Mm.
people that the library's a cooling station.
Good.
Cool.
Did they? I
Mhm.
put it out. They didn't have it out there earlier, and then I had it on my page, and then I think they piggybacked. I didn't see.
Oh, did they
okay,
back off of you?
2 hours. Yeah, I put it out. I had asked them to put it out there because
Mm.
it wasn't out there this morning. So
Oh,
good.
okay.
I know I see it. I'm glad.
Well, Lauren did call to make sure our air conditioning was.
Before she
That was a
Make
good
sure we
call.
had power, right?
I'm like, yeah,
Why would she?
like the last one of the heat waves we recently had, it wasn't.
It
as
wasn't
cool in
working,
here.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The new light pole has been installed and it is working.
Good.
Talked about the 2025 budget challenges, strategic planning,
Mhm.
survey, and that's it.
Can we go back to the beginning?
Yeah.
You know, when I was reading that paragraph about scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, I didn't see an hour a week as being too much time to spend
I was-
scheduling.
I was thinking the same thing.
No, it's not. And I thought she was working way more on it because it always seems like she's working on it. But she assures me she is only spending an hour on it.
So is it really an issue then?
A lot of it is getting the schedules out ahead of time so that the library assistants know when they're working so that they can make their own, have their own lives and plan around it.
So there's a problem getting it done on time?
Yeah, there was one instance where it was like Monday and or Tuesday, and nobody knew when they were working the following week. So that can make it a little difficult for people if they need to make doctor's appointments.
But so is that a Maureen problem or is that a scheduling problem?
Well, it's an efficiency problem, I think. It's a little bit of a Maureen problem. She was
Okay.
behind.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, well, is there a better way to do it? Because if we had set schedules, it'd just be like, you'd know every week when you work.
Right.
And there are advantages. We went and talked to Dana. There are advantages to set schedules because
Well, I would
it would
imagine.
be easier to hire people because when
Right.
you hire people and you say, well, you're going to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Mhm.
You can plan
And they
around
would
that.
know
Yeah.
when they need childcare or.
So this is flexible every week.
So right now, we are flexible every week, so the schedule
Why?
changes every week. Because of vacation,
Well, I mean, a vacation though,
That's usually like a whole week. That doesn't.
there's
yeah.
a base, so Maureen has a base schedule for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's a base schedule. These are the days that people said, these are the days I would like to work,
Like days of the week.
days of the week.
Okay.
And Maureen tries really hard to honor that, but there are vacations, personal time.
And it changes every week?
A little bit, yes. Some weeks more than others.
I don't know how
I think that
scheduling. I don't know
really
how scheduling
inefficient.
software is going
Yeah.
to fix that.
Yeah.
Because you have people on the weekends that work, and that changes every week. So-
Here's how it might help. Let's say I have a set schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and something comes up and I need Monday off. It's not going to be Maureen's problem to fix that. I need to find a replacement for myself now. Is that part of it too?
That's part of it too.
I mean, like,
Because
not read the way it
currently-
stands now. Like, if I can tell Maureen, oh, I need Monday off, and then she's got to finagle the whole thing. Versus, it's now my responsibility to find a switch.
Why is that though? I mean,
Yeah.
that seems incredibly inefficient and
It did to
actually
me, too.
kind of unprofessional. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like they're employees. They're not like contract employees or pool employees. They're employees.
I think she's trying to honor, like Jennifer said, trying to honor.
And I can
You know,
appreciate
keep
that, but
people
every
happy.
week?
Yeah. Well, I think
Well, it
this
doesn't-
may.
The base schedule. The
Right.
base schedule doesn't change every week. What changes is, say Marcia's working on Saturday and Sundays, so now Maureen has to plug in those hours that Marcia was working with somebody else.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but wouldn't that just be like a rotation?
Yeah, like a weekend
Yeah.
I mean,
I
a rotating
Yeah.
weekend
my husband works in a
schedule.
hospital. He works 2 weekends a month, and those weekends that he works, he's
Or
off
certain
on
holidays, ahead of
Thursday
time.
and Friday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
we did
Yeah.
a whole chart. I mean, we did a whole schedule with a set schedule.
uh-huh.
And when there are certain people that would work weekends, well, then you'd have to make sure during the week.
Their hours are
that
covered.
Their hours
Yeah.
are,
So we have.
that they're not both working on
Understood, but you
Tuesday
could
night.
you could probably lay that all out and be done, right?
And I think that's what this is maybe attempting to do, and now this citywide software is being looked at. Correct?
And do you also try to swap people out? Like, okay, you can't work this Friday, so this person will work your Friday and you have to work their Wednesday or something?
Maureen's
As
constant.
opposed to just, okay, you can't work Friday, somebody else will work that Friday, you just lost 8 hours or whatever.
Can't they be responsible for finding people to cover for them when they need?
That's
Yeah.
what I
I
think.
mean, there is some of that.
Well, you're no indicator to the high school students, like right to the people that isn't there a cheerleader that works here?
Mhm.
So you cater around her
Yes.
schedule, which
The-
is
the
very,
shelvers
which is
are
excellent, which you have a good reputation of
The
doing that, just so you
shelvers
know, around the
are-
city.
The shelvers are easy.
Okay, yeah.
It's
It's-
scheduling the surf desk that could be
Oh.
difficult.
Well, just keep us updated with how this all plays out, but it definitely
Sounds like it
Sounds
could use
like
a little
it-
more structure.
could be easier, you know, if you lay down, whether or not the city
To
does
try to
this
plan, that would be nuts.
software or not, maybe
Yeah. Oh,
you
you
and
can't work
Maureen
on
could
Monday?
just decide
Find
this is
somebody
the
to
way it's
cover
gonna
for
be, you know? I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
It's hard to-
and you just have less hours this week.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I think it was
Well,
planned out
keep
further
us
in
updated.
advance. It would be easier.
Yeah.
and then, on page 46, I know there are two things coming up. The 21st, did everyone get one of these? A reminder that there is the volunteer breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is still under Jennifer's
Yep.
report, sorry.
They're very pretty.
Yeah, lovely.
Carrie says thank you. In Canva, she used Canva. Yeah, the volunteer breakfast on September 21st at 9 in the Phaedra room that is not on the thing, but
Oh,
it's here at the library. And then, the John Gerda
mm-hmm.
program, tickets are on sale. And we've sold a few already.
Good.
Excellent.
At the at a glance, this month was really good. We had, again, really good, physical cert numbers were over last year and ebooks were over last year quite a bit.
How come we printed a portrait instead of?
I don't know.
I thought my.
What are all the lines on
To
it
see
this
if
time
you
though?
notice.
I did
Well-
fix the lines.
Ah,
it's hard to
see?
read.
It's harder.
I'll make sure next month.
You
I
need,
did
you need
fix-
this extra strong readers for
It
the.
probably was because I had to cut your spreadsheet and paste it into a new spreadsheet. Because that bottom
The
line
bottom
would
line
not
wasn't
print.
fit.
It would
Yeah.
not print for the life of me. It would not print.
I
But
didn't
now
think
that
I could
got
make that
fixed.
happen, but I did.
So yeah, so it's working now, but I'll make sure it's landscape next time. I was just so happy I got that bottom line.
Couldn't you take out the at a glance that's in the first line of the table? And then it would be a line shorter.
Oh no, it fit on there.
Oh.
It just didn't print.
Oh,
Like nothing that I did.
that's weird.
Yeah, it was. I've never seen that happen before.
And Michelle, I think we are now doing cards for people who have monthly anniversaries or have anniversaries.
Oh,
So I
that's
think
wonderful.
everyone has signed
Yep.
those cards except you, so.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions about Jennifer's report or the at a glance? Okay, then we will move on to the foundation report.
I was not at the Milkman game, so I'll have Jennifer.
So the 50/50 raffle, we sold $1,257 worth of raffle.
Nice.
How much
And-
did you sell?
$1,257,
Sweet.
and it was a slower game.
Yeah. Seems
So
slower.
we want to get back in like May or early June again, because we think that would be better for us. As long as
Or-
it's not on Mother's Day or Father's Day, which were two of the options we had this year.
Oof.
But
Father's Day, maybe.
Who are we battling against?
What do you mean?
For prime
Well-
spot?
Yeah, so is this like, oh, okay, I really like this resort. Well, then go ahead and pick this same date next year, so you automatically get it because, well, we were at a couple of Milkman games, so you know you've got cancer and you got some other ones. It's like, okay, you got to move these things around. You don't get to own that week,
Right.
right?
Steve,
So we need to be
Yeah.
able to get
So-
into some of
He has
those
that
too.
formula.
Steve Taylor has a whole formula he uses, and it's rotating. So, like, let's say the Lioness Club that I used to serve on, and I used to run the Milkman games, gets like a really good spotlight seat. Like a date one year, they're not going to get it the following summer. He kind of rotates it all, and he told me once too, based upon how much energy is given to it and how much is sold for the 50/50 raffle. So that's why it's excellent you sold so many tickets, because that's appreciated and that bumps you up on the spot is what I was told. Because unfortunately they do have charities and different people that'll come, and there's maybe they
do
don't have the
much.
energy
Yeah.
that, like, say you guys did, and they'll sell 50 raffle tickets, and they don't really work it.
Well, I was at the game yesterday, and
Oh, I give
there
you
seemed
credit.
to be a
I was supposed
ton
to
of
go.
people at that game.
It was the
I
last
didn't
game,
see-
candy helicopter
It was
candy
a
drop.
helicopter candy drop,
Which
which
is
was
like-
very cool.
But we have
kids.
But
that one
I
raffle.
did not.
That's what the helicopter was for.
I did not see
That's what
one
the skull
person
injuries
selling
were.
raffle tickets.
So did they have
They
an
might not have had it.
organization?
Yeah, the juvenile diabetes.
Ed Engage. was
That's
there.
what they
And
had
State
at a
Farm.
candy drop?
I know. Well,
Oh my gosh.
but
And that's on
That
top
is-
of
but
the
I
skull
don't-
fractures. So
I don't know if anybody was
It didn't
selling
hit me
raffle
right away.
tickets. And somebody
Until-
said,
until it came all the way
So
down.
that's because none of them were there because it was a
so yeah, we did
candy
we did
drop.
really good.
Jesus.
Yeah,
So the
That's
good
horrible.
news
that's
is,
probably Steve's problem.
Yes.
You know,
the good news is.
they won't get the
Surprise,
same one
surprise.
next week.
We
Right?
just have to share
Oh my
the pot
gosh.
because nobody
Wait
came
until the
and
bloggers
claimed
find
the
out about
raffle
that.
money.
Oh, really?
Really?
So we got the
foundation
whole
has to keep
amount.
the whole.
They did, they gave it
that's
back.
Awesome.
No, they never claimed
They
it.
never
Nobody
claimed
was there to
We
claim it?
stayed until,
Yeah.
we were Laura and I were one of the last people out of that stadium.
And nobody came.
And nobody came.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
when
there were complaints, not complaints, I shouldn't say that. There were, people would come up to see what the winning number was because they didn't hear it.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But they did put it twice on the scoreboard and announced it twice. But I think it is quieter in the stadium
I
now.
was going to say, and when at the game yesterday, I was back at the table, August, so I wasn't paying attention, but it is really hard to hear the
Yeah.
game.
And
the
I added to
game
my list
being
of
called.
hundreds. I know.
So
I
I
am
was
about
going to
moving
give that feedback that maybe the
No, I
day
appreciate that.
games crank it up a little more. I
They
can
can't.
I know,
But
I know,
we're going
I
to be
know.
revisiting that. I'm bringing that back to the table.
but that's what I'm saying. I think it needs
I
to be
hear that
discussed
nonstop.
that
Yes.
during. I mean, I can understand
Well-
if the game's at in the evening, maybe a time, but
at
yeah, our
curfew,
friend,
like,
he's a big baseball guy. He's like, I can't hear the game, you know.
I may need you to come to the meeting when I bring that back to speak, and your friend can come. They don't have to be a friend.
There's something new.
Well, you can use the
Never had a
anecdote
problem.
of all the people that came up to find out what.
We dropped the DBA down to 55,
you know,
so
what
that you
the-
can't hear the games.
Yeah, it's
That
this
people
season.
couldn't hear, but I mean, it did work out for the foundation.
You know, last year though, when we did
Oh my God, I
it, people
love it. I love
people
it.
came up and asked for the ticket numbers too because they had not seen them or missed them or
Maybe
whatever.
Twice, I saw them put it up on the.
But maybe
board.
we could put a big sign on our table then too.
That's true.
Winning ticket number
My theory too is that
or a
it's
whiteboard.
possible, because Barb Wiesner sold a lot in the hop yard, and it's possible that somebody was feeling really good and
Yes.
bought the
Yeah.
ticket and then forgot they bought a ticket.
Yeah.
Or somebody could have had the winning ticket and was there and didn't want to be noticed and just wanted you guys to keep the money.
It's true.
That happened once
Yeah.
with my son with football in Greendale.
That could also
Because they didn't want to be,
happen, yeah.
they
Yeah,
just wanted to
recognized
remain
it.
silent so they'd
Right.
keep the money.
But
And
we
they didn't
did,
come forward.
Laura
Maybe
and
it
I-
was one of the foundation members that was selling tickets that bought some and.
Yeah,
Okay.
some people don't want to stick around and then they're like, we'll just leave, whatever, I probably won't win anyhow.
But we did our due diligence. We
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
good that we stayed till like the very end. I mean, literally, there were probably 10 people in the stadium.
Alrighty.
Well,
Perfect.
there's
That's
another
great.
there's another foundation thing, and actually my wife noticed this when she was going through stuff doing the survey, and I mentioned this to Annie.
She emailed me, I'm gonna switch it.
Okay.
It's been addressed.
It's like all the things that I am catching.
But my comment also would be, okay, if you want to know more about the foundation or something like that, why are somebody contacting the library director rather than somebody in the foundation?
Because she can direct somebody to the foundation as opposed to every time the foundation changes
Changes.
members, we'll have to redo the brochure. She refers people to Barb and everybody else all the time.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just the initial
makes sense.
contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause,
Until,
I mean, you're gonna
until the
redo
foundation has so much money, they can hire a administrator.
Right.
And
I'm
that's
the
not gonna
administrator
be-
until then.
So the foundation's going to hire people that we can't, right?
As soon as they can afford it.
No, then they're gonna be spending their money on people. We don't want that. We
Right.
don't want that.
So, Annie, any update about the John Gerda thing other than what Jennifer said?
That's,
Okay.
we've sold a few
Yep.
tickets and we're getting the advertising out.
We've got a meeting in a couple weeks.
Gotcha. But I
September.
heard that you have enough sponsors that have covered the event already. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That is
but, I
correct.
mean,
We've
what-
gotten $3,100 in sponsors, and the
Nice.
event's only costing us a little over $2,000.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
Very good.
that's
Good work.
profit. Plus, then we get the money from the sale of the tickets. Sendix will be doing they will
Right.
have a bartender, so I don't have to worry about taking the 4-hour course.
What's the cap on the number of tickets?
90.
90? Okay.
If- Can I add to that too? That is what I wanted to bring up. I'm so sorry going back for my comments. We went back and forth on that event. I don't know
Oh,
if you had
yes.
heard.
Yeah,
At
Shirley
council
talked to me.
and in licensing, because I'm in licensing, okay. Because we were unsure about having the alcohol in a government building.
Oh.
So we weren't sure if that was allowed or not. So
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, that's what they said. Because we tossed that back and forth in licensing a bit, and then we had Jesse review it. And
We
then.
have, we always have to have the bartender, the licensed bartender.
Mhm.
I'm glad it's gonna be Sendix and not me.
Mhm.
It gets a little stressful, especially when you see somebody having a good time at a.
At a Gerda
Yeah.
speak?
Yeah, right.
I know.
All right.
Maybe,
Yeah. he's-
Real wild and crazy group.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments for the foundation? Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say we made between $1,400 and $1,500.
Oh, gotcha. At the game.
With everything.
With everything.
Okay.
That's great.
Because that included ticket sales and the ball toss thing.
Thanks to
Yep.
Maria.
All right. So upcoming meetings, the personnel committee is scheduled to meet coming up. It's not scheduled, but we are on the
We should
calendar
be,
to meet
yeah.
coming up to start the evaluation process already.
Okay.
So we will
And
look for
Tomorrow
I'm going to-
night, I may be added to the personnel committee too, so that'll be nice.
Oh,
Oh, you're
the-
talking about the
the
city
library
personnel, library
board.
separate
So it's
personnel.
me
I'm so
and
sorry.
Judy and.
Never mind.
No, that's
Retract.
okay. So
You
does
can't
every
have too
year those assignments change, or just when people want to? Like
It's a
council,
still-
on the council, is
Yeah.
it annually you get assigned to a different one, or is it just kind of whenever a change is needed?
When a change is needed
Okay,
or
or
requested.
requested.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's more
Okay.
to it later.
Yep. All right, and then our next meeting is September 23rd. And Annie already knows she won't be here. Anybody else? All right.
Do
Let us know.
you want to have somebody say that they are going to then be the secretary for that day?
Oh, good point.
So at least we know.
I nominate Mike.
I'll
He
do
did
it.
such a good job last time.
I'll
I
do
make
it.
a motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
I'll
Second.
Michelle. B.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Have a good night, everybody.